All right, guys, this is Norval Central coming back at you another YouTube video, and I really appreciate all the love and support so far. I did have a technical difficulty yesterday trying to put up a video, so unfortunately I wasn't able to get up a video yesterday, but I do appreciate all the love and support that you've shown me so far on my YouTube channel as I've slowly tried to get back into things. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the point of the video today. So Florida State is ranked 25th in the country in recruiting, and you're going to look at that rating and say, okay, this is a rating that has to change. Florida State is not a team where they should be recruiting at the 25th level. Of course, that is definitely a valid point with that. And I do think the staff is going to be getting a lot more commitments in the month of July. And I do think this is also a situation where, I mean, unfortunately, some of the guys they have on target are deciding in July. You can't really help that to the fact of trying to get some of those guys in. Now, of course, Florida's done a really good job in getting some of those guys into the class already. But it all matters what's going to happen on the field this season. Will Florida State exceed expectations and be able to get to potentially in the ACC championship and then also to the playoff? That's going to be wait and see. But I do think Florida State sets up really nicely, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And that's what we're going to actually be discussing today. So you're looking at a guy like four-star receiver Elijah Moore. He's out of the Maryland area. This is a guy that Florida State's been on for quite some time, was an offer that he had gotten all the way back in 8th grade at this point. And he really felt like Florida State was kind of that place for him because they had offered him so early. They had gotten into the groove with him and his recruitment. And now you look at a team like Ohio State, they were kind of a factor in this recruitment, and I still think they are. He's going to be deciding between two schools in Florida State and Ohio State at this point. You know Ohio State's track record, especially on the offensive side of the ball, with their wide receiver coach, Brian Hartline. Will it be a decision where Florida State can kind of take advantage in this recruitment? Some of the services have him as a high 3-star. Some of them have him as a low 4-star. But overall, I do think he is a very, very talented prospect. Problem is, Florida State does have 4 receivers committed to the program, and TJ Abrams, Camden Fryer, and also with BJ Gibson, and then Wayne McCoy. I think those are 4 very, very viable guys. Problem is when you look at those guys that you have there, McCoy has also officially visited UCF this past month. And then you also look at him not really officially visiting Florida State yet. It's been kind of quiet on that front. You go over to TJ Abrams. Everybody knows about TJ Abrams at this point because he did commit to Florida State kind of out of the blue at that point. And then you look at going to go visit Florida and then going to go visit Texas A&M. Will he entertain those schools later on in the process? And that's just kind of being wait to see. He kind of talked about how on the official visit with some media members, he had talked about how his recruitment process wasn't really over. It did help that Florida State had an official visit. And we'll kind of see how that kind of factors into things. But I think Florida State's kind of understanding that, okay, it has Abrams that's a little bit shaky, but McCoy we really don't know about just yet. And you have Fryer and Gibson that are pretty much solid in their commitments. They took official visits, and they've been everything they needed to do so far. Can Florida State be able to get more into this class? And he talked about with the exit meetings under his official visit that Florida State was his #1 school and that he was going to be deciding on July 4th. That kind of tells you in hindsight that Florida State is the advantage there. That's who he's going to be able to pick if Florida State does classify him as a take, and I definitely think that they classify him as a take at this point. 6'4" receiver, 190 pounds, is a guy that can high point the football at a very, very high level. And that's something that Florida State has not had because all their receivers they have committed so far to the program, they're 6 foot or under at this point. They can play in the slot, can play a little bit on the outside too, but Moore is kind of that guy that can play on the outside as a certified pass catcher, can get you tough third down yardage at this point. And I think that's what Luke Krumenhawk definitely needed, especially with his recent rating that he had from 247 Sports. He is now the 33rd best prospect in the 24/7 rankings for the grade so far in the 2024 class. And he's also the 3rd best quarterback. So he did a really nice job in the Elite 11 competition. And I think he can definitely continue to accelerate that type of rating that he has so far. Maybe he can get into that 5-star status. Who knows at this point? You also got a guy like James Madison, who is a 4-star receiver out of St. Thomas Aquinas. He is going to be deciding on July 4th as well between Missouri and Florida State. Florida State really likes Madison and what he brings to the table, but Missouri is a team that you have to watch out for. He is originally from the Missouri area, and that is a guy that, they do value, but will they take both of the wide receivers on July 4th and kind of what they see, going forward with Abrams and McCoy? We'll kind of have to figure that out because at the end of the day, if Moore is able to get into the program, because he's already been crystal balled at this point to Florida State Madison does not have any crystal balls as of right now, but that may actually change in the next couple of days. Can they be able to get all those receivers in the class and then possibly still leave an open spot for a JoJo Trader from the South Florida area, or even a Cam Coleman from Phoenix City, Alabama? Those are kind of the questions you're going to have to ask yourself. I mean, because they are going to be taking guys like that. They will never turn away guys like JoJo Trader or Cameron Coleman as well. They both have not used their official visits on Florida State. They've only done unofficial visits. So maybe when they can be able to come back from maybe the Miami game, that might have a bigger standing of where Florida State stands with those guys and how much they kind of value everything. You know, of course, with Trader, you're going to have to deal with Miami. And with Cam Coleman, he has actually talked about how he really loves Auburn and some of those other schools like LSU as well. I wonder what's going to happen with that recruitment, because Clemson's also in the mix for Cam Coleman also. So we're just going to have to figure out everything that goes on with that. But I definitely think that more should be at take as of right now. I wonder what's going to happen with Madison, because I do like Madison's skill set. I think he can be a viable weapon for Luke Kromenhoek. And he actually talked about in his exit interview how much he kind of blended his family together with his. And they really had a good time talking to one another on their official visit. And I really wonder if Florida State is going to be able to take both those guys and then kind of figure out the rest later. And I think that's what they probably should do in that situation, but we'll kind of figure out what's going to happen there. But I really appreciate all the love and support as always. Be sure to check out my recent videos that I've done so far. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things with YouTube, and I really appreciate all the love and support that you all show on my social media accounts. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at the bottom there. And also subscribe to the channel. It is completely free. Leave a like button before you leave as well. Comment your thoughts on what you think about the video. Will they take both the receivers or will they not take them? We'll kind of see how that goes. And I really appreciate all the love and support as always. And go Noles.